What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Empty the Benches. We have Nick Bowens back with us today. Mac is traveling. He is in St. Louis for work, so I don't know, Venmo him like $30 so he can bet while he's there. So I think he's doing pretty well. Last time I checked, he was up like $200. So Margarita Mac came out of retirement and hit it pretty hard. But Mr. Bowens, always a pleasure to have you on the show. What's going on, my guy?
Not a whole lot. I apologize for the Batman voice here, folks. We're battling a little bit, but I've never actually asked Mac what he does for work. I just hear that he's traveling for work all the time. So I think we keep it that way. I think we just keep me in the dark.
Yeah, I don't even think he knows sometimes what he does for work. So that would be good if he could let us know what his exact title is. I feel like that would help us out a lot.
Yeah.
But
Right now it just seems like nomad.
exactly. He's all over the place. And all these like really random places too that you've just like never heard of, which I think is hysterical. But appreciate you battling through. I know you're under the weather. I'm under the weather. If you can see on YouTube, we're going full hoodie and beanie today. So don't really care about looking pretty. We're just going to get through this one. But fired up to have you on. We got a huge show to talk about. We've got some Leaf stuff. We got some Winter Classic stuff, World Juniors to recap. We'll get into that all in a second. But before we do, just want to remind everyone, Elwood's event coming up January 27th. If you're in the Milwaukee area, $45 ticket package to the game against the Rockford Ice Hogs. That gets you a limited edition t-shirt, pregame at Elwood's. Doors open at 5 p.m. You get a ticket to the Hogs ads game. That's a 7 p.m. start time. Plus, you get a free drink at the post game if you bring your ticket stub back. So make sure you go do that. Say hi to Nathan and everyone. Mac will be in attendance, so someone please keep an eye on him so we don't burn the bar to the ground.
That sounds like a blast.
Yeah, should be a good time. Let's get into some hockey stuff, though, some NHL stuff. Let's start with your Leafs. Big kind of moment here for the franchise. Matthews passes Matt Sundin for the all-time goal-scoring lead as a Leaf. What is the significance of that to you guys?
So cool. I mean, Sundin was, I think, just about everybody's favorite player growing up. We all loved Domi. We all loved Tucker for different reasons. Brian McCabe was a blast. Other than that, we didn't really have a ton when we were kind of young. I've said it before.
It
I cheered
wasn't
for the
Sergei
Capitals when the
Berezin?
Leafs sucked, but I don't really remember him, to be honest. A little bit more like McGillney,
Okay.
Konikrovsky, Antropov, right? But I mean, Sundin was the man. Like, I'll never forget, like, going to preseason games or like blue and white games that they would do, and watching him score a hat trick against the rest of the Leafs, or like a shootout winner in preseason. Like, all the little memories of, I couldn't tell you who they played. I couldn't tell you what the score was, but I remember Sundin scored or Sundin did something cool. Like, he was our guy growing up. So to see Matthews pass him, to think about the fact that he did it in 300 odd less games, it's just crazy. I'm so glad that the Leafs had Sundin there. Say what you want about our losing ways. We do a fabulous job with the alumni ever since Shanahan came in and kind of said, let's get the blue and white alumni back in here. All the guys are there every game, all the time. The fact that they had Sundin there for the whole kind of experience and celebration of Poppy, it was cool to see, man.
Yeah, it was awesome. I loved the ceremony. I thought they did a great job. And did they have him like follow around once he got close, sort of like what Gretz did with the Ovi thing, or was that just kind of a
No, yeah,
luck of the draw?
not really leading up to it. I mean, also Matthews kind of had negative connotations in the headlines for the last
Yeah.
couple of weeks, so like I don't think they were trying to draw extra light to it. And then bang bang, hat trick and 2 goals, he's there. So maybe they were planning on doing that and just didn't get around to it. But it was super cool, and I mean, I love the Budweiser like numbered cans that they're doing for all these different milestones. So sick.
Buds for the buds, right? Gotta love
That's
that.
yeah. I can't wait for Marner's video with 150 odd Budweiser cans in front of him. But even just seeing that list of like guys who assisted on Matthews' goals, like Andreas Janssen and Kasperi Kapanen were in the top like 15 of assists on
That's
Matthews' goals.
crazy.
It's just crazy to think. Or like, Thornton and Marlowe each had like 5 assists with him. Just some crazy names. Obviously, he's only been in the league for less than a decade, but still some nostalgia and throwback names on that assist list that Budweiser put out.
So where do we stand with the debate, of course, the greatest Leaf of all time? Is this like the tipping point for you? Were you already leaning Matthews? Are you still leaning Sundin? Where are you at with all that?
If Matthews keeps staying, if we make a deep run, it's his. obviously Sundin didn't lift the cup in Toronto, but
Right.
like he had some big games and people forget about. I mean, he was talking about it the other day. Like he scored a OT winner at home in the conference finals against Carolina. Like they had some good squads, some deep runs in the early 2000s there, and obviously he was the face of that. So to me, it's still Sundin off of volume, but when it's all said and done, if Poppy keeps suiting up in the blue and white, like it's gonna be his.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Another big weekend for you. You got to travel down to the Winter Classics. So I know we were talking a little bit about that before we started rolling here, but just that looked like an amazing time, man. I'm so glad you got to do that. It looked incredible.
Yeah, it was awesome, and shout out to the boys at TNT for setting that up for us. We had great seats, great time. Got to see a bunch of people from Grinnelli to Empty Netters to hanging out and catching up with Barber and just some of the media and journalists that you see or bump elbows with in the press box there. So it was a great time. Honestly, I loved the event. I thought it was a good venue for it. 36,000 is a good size where it's not like 60,000. You can spot out empty sections. It's full, it's tight, but it's not overwhelming either way. I know people are pissed about it being down south. It was beautiful. And I always say, I mean, you saw my rants on working in hockey. These are in-person events. They're made for the people that are attending. If you're on your couch in Winnipeg, it's not really for you. You were probably going to watch hockey that night anyway. This is
True.
for the people of Miami, the people who, they're introducing new fans. They're honoring, acknowledging the fans of the team that's won the back-to-back Stanley Cups. So, I mean, they were rocking and rolling from 11 a.m. right up until 8 p.m. puck drop. The city was a buzz all weekend. I thought it was spectacular. What'd you think watching from home?
I thought first and foremost, because this is a fashion podcast, we have to talk about the uniforms. I thought they looked a lot better on the ice than they did when they first came out, which
Yeah.
is usually how that goes. There's a couple cases where that just goes the opposite way, but Florida especially, I was like, okay, this is something unique. It's Florida. It's bright. It's a bunch of different colors. It works. Whatever. Yeah, I thought you nailed it on your post-game analysis video that you did on working in hockey, where you talked about, hey, maybe going forward, Winter Classic is, in a winter, colder environment, and these are just Stadium Series games. I feel like that's kind of the way to go here. I'd also love to see this game get put back on New Year's Day. Like if you're going to make the Winter Classic, that sort of special event like it was when it first came out, I don't mind that. And I know there's going to be people saying, well, you can't now with the college football playoff. You're just never going to get the views. But I think as we've seen in the past, if you build it with hockey fans, they will come. If you put that on a 1 p.m., noon start time, which I know can be difficult with, the sun. But, I think that would be great to see them go back to something like that.
Yeah, and I mean, I can probably talk us in circles here because I love talking about the business shit, but like, I think they put it on the 2nd this year because A, it was a Friday, and B, it's down south. So people are watching college football. You're
Exactly.
competing with gate sales there. Because I know people are like, oh, well, you can't complain about college football if you're saying it's a in-person event and you're only focused on the gate, not the TV. Well, when it's in the south, you are competing there with college football audience. So I'm curious if next year in Utah, they bump it back to the 1st. I haven't looked at my January 2027 calendar yet. I don't know what day of the week that is, but I think in Utah, they might go back to the 1st. But yeah, man, I think it was a blast. And honestly, lucky enough to go to the one in Chicago last year. Obviously, super cool. Chicago, St. Louis, Wrigley Field, awesome. Gretzky had a whole setup there. It was super cool to be part, like, super cool event. The game was miserable because it was
Right.
freezing and pouring rain. I know the one in Minnesota a couple years ago was miserable. Your beer would freeze as soon as you opened it. So like for people who've been going to the last couple, even people with the league or teams, 80 degrees during the day was a breath of fresh air for them. They loved it.
Oh, I'm sure that was just like a nice little vacation for them. Get some feeling back in the fingers for sure.
Yeah.
Out of, just like I know you mentioned that is kind of the downside with doing it in these colder weather places is it can be miserable. What's another like warmer weather location you think would be good for the league to look at either a Winter Classic or a Stadium Series game going forward?
Yeah. I'm really excited for Utah. I'll start by saying that. I want a big one in Toronto because
Okay.
it seems crazy to me that like we haven't had a Winter Classic in Toronto. I know obviously the big house,
Right.
Toronto was part of it. But as far as like warmer weather down south, I was pretty excited when I saw the Nashville, what's the NASCAR stadium? I'm forgetting
Oh,
the name.
Bristol.
Bristol. When
Yeah.
when the Bristol leak came out last week and people thought that's where next year's was going to be, I was excited for that. I think that would be cool. I want them to keep trying new venues. Like we know football stadiums work. We can always fall back to that. It's the
Right.
right shape for seats, right? There is some bad seats when you're at a baseball stadium or otherwise. But I'm all for trying new shapes, sizes, stadiums. I think Bristol could be cool. Nashville's one that I would maybe go back to the well there.
Yeah, no, Bristol would be great for it. I've been to that track for a NASCAR race before. It's really cool just how high banked it is, so there wouldn't
Yeah.
really be a bad seat.
So
Um,
steep, right?
yeah, plus if you do that around like sunset, that's kind of we went to a night race when I was there, so you get the sun going down with the mountains, the skies, orange, purple, pink, blue. It's just gorgeous. So, not the easiest place to get to. I think getting all that stuff in and out of there, up and down those windy back roads might be a little bit of pain in the ass for the guys, but no, that would be an unreal time to see them do something like that.
Yeah, I think it would be super cool. And like I said, they've done a lot of the hits. I know people are like, oh, get it in a cool stadium. Like we've done Notre Dame, we've done Wrigley, we've done Fenway,
Yeah,
we've done the Cotton Bowl. Like we're checking a lot of these boxes. So they're gonna keep getting creative. Some people are gonna love it, some people are gonna hate it. But no, man, I thought that was a blast. And again, easier said than done when you're there, but reminder that it's built for people who are there.
absolutely. No, I think that's a great way to put it. Let's go ahead over to the international stuff. World Juniors therapy session and debrief. Do you want to start or do you want me to start?
Take it away.
Okay, so not great. Obviously, U.S. gets bounced by the Finns in overtime. I don't know why playing against that team every year is just such a nightmare for the Americans, but I've never seen a national team just decide, okay, you will not get the puck over the blue line. And the Finns do it every single year. It's so hard for the American players to not only carry possession through the neutral zone, but then try and maintain any kind of possession in the zone and set up. And they just got ran out of the building by the Finns. I thought they started great, kind of went flat. And then, if you don't pull away from that team, like if you don't get 3 or 4 goals on them, they just slowly start to like claw their way back in. They get one, and then, 10 minutes go by and they get another one. And then you really start sweating. And that's kind of exactly what happened this time around. And great play, great shot in overtime. Not the best defending I've seen, but it is what it is. And, hopefully lesson learned there. But yeah, that's a disappointing one considering how the last two went. That's for sure.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, I think it was also a little bit expected, like you said, like this wasn't the US best birth year or class that they had there. There's obviously still a lot of talent on that team and you expect to be running for a medal there. But yeah, I mean, I think they'll bounce back next year. There's so many good US born kids coming up through the system that I don't think it's a concern of US hockey or anything like that. They just, bounce back next year and everybody will be happy.
Yeah, absolutely. Going over to you guys. So third year in a row against the Czechs. What's going on?
I am embarrassed. I hate it, but I also think the narrative online has been a little bit too extreme.
Oh, of course.
Like the people being like, Hockey Canada can never win anything again, blow it up. What are we doing? Minor hockey needs solved. Like, yes, hockey's too expensive. We are weeding out fabulous athletes. We are having issues in politics, etc., across Hockey Canada, every hockey organization. Unquestionably, that is happening. But also, like, there's so many stars coming through Hockey Canada's system. Celebrini wasn't there, Schaefer wasn't there, Dickinson wasn't there, Kindle wasn't there, Berkeley Catton wasn't there. Like all those guys were eligible. So, okay, they weren't there. We lost in the tournament. Sucks. It is what it is. But do we need to blow up the whole system? No, I don't think so because 5 of our guys that age were in the NHL. No other
Right.
country had a single player in the NHL yet. So
Yeah.
to me, the truth is somewhere in the middle. As a fan, it sucked. Czechia has our number. I envy how well they play as a team. I
Yeah.
miss the days of Team Canada running guys through the end wall and forechecking like crazy. The number of pucks that were punted out to center ice by talented defensemen and then forwards not forechecking it, it was so confusing to me. Like it was It was a disheartening way to lose yet again to Czechia, but to me, the credit goes to Czechia. The questions go to the coaching staff. It doesn't mean blow up every hockey organization in Canada and start from scratch.
Yeah, the media coverage, I think, obviously with just hockey in Canada as a whole, as I'm sure you can attest to, but just around the World Juniors itself is just so crazy. Especially, for someone who grew up in Maryland to like see, like, I follow TSN, I follow Sportsnet, like all those pages just so I can stay informed. And like the narratives that these guys will start, like the actual pages themselves will start about, 16, 17, 18-year-old children is just absolutely diabolical. So I don't know if there's ever going to be like an answer there or a solution, but I couldn't believe what I was watching when I was watching that game. I thought for sure, I was like, oh, they're just going to roll these guys like 2 years in the past. Like they're going to come in pissed off. Yeah, I was just waiting for that like next shoe to drop, and it just kind of felt like it never did.
Not having Brady Martin for that game was a big loss. Obviously, not the reason we lost, but I love that guy. I would have killed to have him as a Toronto Maple Leaf, but Nashville's got a good one in him. Michael Hage, however you say it, was phenomenal. Habs fans got to be excited. The fact he didn't get a top 3 player on Team Canada is an absolute joke, and everybody
Yeah,
agreed on that after the game. He was awesome. I love Tija Ginla. I thought Veerhoff was good enough. The decor overall wasn't great for Canada. Danford didn't really impress. But to your point on narratives and hate, like, dude, McKenna's getting absolutely torched online, and it's like, oh my God, he's playing himself out of, a top draft choice. Like, oh, he only had points against Denmark, and then he goes and puts up 4 points against Finland. Like, the
yeah,
conclusions that people make just because it's the first time they've watched somebody
yeah.
are so crazy to me. Like, do I think he is Bedard Celebrini level? I don't. I think he's a tier below. My comparisons for McKenna are somewhere between Zegras and Marner.
Okay, and I think
He's
that's fair.
he's
And I
gonna
mean, the
be
kid
a top
has
5
time.
pick on that guy. He's
He's
a
what?
fabulous talent.
He's 17.
Yeah,
Yeah,
17 hasn't turned yet. Like he's gonna develop. You would be very happy with Zegras or Marner on your team. Like I think the expectations and the narratives are just so crazy sometimes. Like that is one of the most skilled kids to come through junior hockey ranks and college hockey ranks ever.
yeah.
Why are we shitting on him after one bad game?
Yeah, no, it's crazy to see, and I feel for those kids, and you could tell. I mean, I feel like as that game was ending, and like you could just see their faces. I mean, you could just see the amount of pressure that they deal with on a night in night out basis. I don't know how they do that.
I will say I'm a big Porter Martone fan.
As am I.
You are a big Porter Martone fan. Was not a big fan of his tournament. And again, nobody's asking me for these comparables. I don't know Jack, but my NHL comparable for Martone is JVR.
Okay.
Great hands in tight. He'll shelf it on you. He'll get in the mix. He'll use his size. He'll be good down low. But boy, those are some slow boots.
Yeah. Makes me feel better about myself. I'll take that any day of the week. But yeah, I know he got a lot of flack for giving the guy a little butt tap in that first game. But I think that even too, like, yeah, obviously, okay, don't do it. Just gets two, sits there, it's over with, it's done, move on. And then the narrative being like, oh, way too cocky, way too entitled. I'm like, guys, it's they're teenagers and they're playing on a stage you could only dream about playing on. I think tensions are gonna run a little bit high here.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's shouldn't have done it. That's
Yeah,
why he got a penalty.
lesson learned. There you go. Sweden gets their first gold since 2012. That's huge for them. I think they pretty much had they steamrolled the U.S. on New Year's Eve. That was not even a close game. So I think it's great for them. I think it's great for the tournament that the gold medal game almost wasn't U.S. Canada. I know that's frustrating for both you and I, but to see the Czechs and the Swedes go at it, I think is great for the tournament. I also think it pisses off everyone else, and they're going to be back with a vengeance the next year. Anyone else from this tournament that stood out to you as just like a stud or kind of business as usual here?
I mean, I think everybody was raving about Galvis on Czechia. He's a double overager. He should have been picked in last year's NHL draft. He'll probably go, I don't know, second, third round this year because he
Yeah,
is overage, but he was phenomenal. He looked like a little Lane Hudson water bug out there on the point for Czechia. Stenberg was good for Sweden. I was really impressed by Bjork. I
yeah,
know another draft eligible by them. He just like the motor on that guy was very impressive. Frundell as well on
Yeah.
Sweden, just like good heavy shot. It was so funny watching them funnel every single puck on the power play to him like he's Ovi. Like
Right.
that was good. I mean that Finland shootout game
Oh
just
my
baffled.
God.
Like that was electric. That was so fun. But I mean, yeah, man, I think there's more talent in that tournament than ever before.
Yeah.
Personally, I would like it to swing back a little more physical because I think that's when junior age kids' emotions. The roller coaster is
Oh
a
yeah.
little bit more entertaining as a fan, but the skill level on every team is just it gets better every year.
Yeah. I think someone that stood out to me in Caps bias here totally. Switzerland's Leon Mugli. I thought he had a fantastic tournament.
Yeah.
Offensively was productive. Defensively looked great. So good things coming there in the pipeline for the Caps.
Yeah, I liked his game, and like you said, offense isn't plentiful on Switzerland, so to
Yes.
see him do what he did, I thought was impressive too.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go over to the big brother, the Olympics. So we finally have our rosters. Those got dropped, I think, what, a week, just about a week ago,
Yeah.
maybe a little bit less. But your reactions immediately when the Canadian roster came out.
I was very glad that they got the three goalies that I would have done.
Correct.
I was very glad to see Suzuki, Celebrini, and Horvat there. Those were decision. Oh, and Wilson. Sorry,
Yeah.
those were the four additions I would have made. I don't know that I would have taken Bennett off, but then it becomes like, okay, Horvat's not joining or Sorelli's not joining when
Right.
obviously Sorelli's going to be there for Cooper. Forwards, like to me, that's it. It's a toss up. All those guys are so friggin' good that like I'm not here to nitpick. They have their reasons. The D was a little more surprising to me. I mean, obviously Taze has said he's not 100% if he's going to be there. I think from what I've heard, Schaefer and Uyghur are the next two guys up,
Yeah.
a lefty and a righty. I personally would have Chikrin in the mix there, and
What
I
are we doing?
to
Like,
hear that. He's so good, man. Like he should be there. Harley's had a really bad season. I really
yeah,
like Harley. He's only 24, so he's gonna be there in future tournaments. I get keeping him. But to me, the defense was a little bit where I was like, would have maybe liked to see a Chikrin, a Uyghur, a Schaefer, Sanheim and Pareko are like it kind of makes it like Sanheim's really good defensively. Pareko
sure.
has his games. I think Sorelli was Cooper's and Pareko was Armstrong's, right? They
That
they
makes
went the
sense.
guy there.
Yeah.
So overall, I mean, with Canada not too much to quabble on, I would have just liked maybe one or two more mobile defensemen because
Okay.
right now, God forbid, Cale Makar goes down. How you getting the puck from A to B?
That's a great point. So how do we feel about a guy like Noah Dobson not making the team?
I'm not the biggest Noah Dobson fan.
Okay.
I think he's kind of like Evan Bouchard, where it's like, all right, he's a great distributor, but is he in the right place the rest of the 55 minutes a night that he doesn't have the puck?
True.
That's my concern. Like Bouchard to me was nowhere near making this team. I know
Okay.
he's a hot button topic.
Yeah.
I think it came out that like he wasn't really in the mix. Dobson's kind of in the same boat to me. To me, it was, I would have Ekblad above both of those guys. Again, you're getting into more kind of slower defensive sandpaper there.
Sure.
And that's where a Chikrin or Schaefer, to me, probably would have been there over Harley or Pareko.
Yeah. The thing that confuses me about Chikrin, and obviously there's a huge part of me that doesn't want him to play on Team Canada because I don't want to have to root against the guy, but it kind of seemed like they didn't even talk to him about it.
Yeah.
And I'm confused how that guy's not even your alternate.
It doesn't really make much sense to me, especially like I say, when you think about puck moving there. Obviously, I didn't mention Morrissey. Like he's a lock to be on the
Yes.
team. He's your next best puck mover after Makar. Like you got a lefty and a righty there. Shea Theodore, he's good. He can play both sides. But to me, like when you're taking 8 guys, I would be taking another offensive, threat with Chikrin or Schaefer. Everybody's like, oh well, when you're up 3-2, you need to defend, and it's like, great. What if you're down 3-2? Right.
Yeah.
So again, we can kind of nitpick all over it there, but not even talking to Chikrin is a little baffling to me. We've watched him live together. It's
Yep.
phenomenal.
Yeah. I think one of the games we went to, he actually bagged the OT winner, if I'm not
Yep.
mistaken. Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yep. And he did it to my Leafs earlier this year. Like the guy skates, the guy scores, the guy is always in the right position, which you can't always say about the guys who can score.
Yeah, I think that just his wrist shot is alone should get him on that team. But like you said, these guys, I mean, y'all could make 15 teams and they would still all be competitive. So,
It's like, it's so funny because people love putting together the second roster. Like, that's the second Team Canada roster would genuinely compete for a medal.
or I saw people saying, like, if you do Team North America here, like, that team could go win the whole thing.
100%. 100%. Yeah, well, dude, it's crazy. Like, you want to roll out a second Team Canada? All right, here's Scheifele, who's top 5 in the league in points. Here's Bedard, who's also up there before the injury. Here's Sam Bennett, reigning 2-time Cup champ and Conn Smythe winner. And here's John Tavares as your fourth line center. Like,
Yeah.
you know, aside from goalies, Canada's second team would be hella competitive.
Yeah. So speaking of goalies, game one, who's starting?
So I've seen this take out there a couple times. I think it was Colby Armstrong at first, and I actually love it. Binnington's a bit of a head case, right? He loves the emotion.
Yeah.
I'm starting Logan Thompson game one.
Okay. So we agree
Just to
on that.
fire up Binnington.
Yeah.
No matter what, game two, we're going to Binner. See how it plays out. I mean, have you looked at the schedule? Like, it's not really a competitive tournament until you get to the quarters.
Right.
Like, I think it's France and Switzerland and Czechia maybe. So
Yeah.
I shouldn't say anything bad about Czechia, but like, you can alternate between Thompson and Binnington your first couple of games if you need. I would start Thompson in game one. If he gets a shutout, roll him back out. Anything else, Binner, hope you're angry, get in there.
Just like tell Binnington up until like 2 minutes before the game, oh, like, you're going. Yeah, you're going. And then at the last minute, be like, no, sorry, dude. No, not happening.
Yeah, he just stays in net like he did last night.
Oh, that was wild, man. So if you had to pick one, is Sam Bennett your biggest snub from Canada?
I don't even love Bennett, but just based off merit, I think so.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't really kill penalties. He's not going to play your power play, so it's kind of like, all right, what are you doing for me? I get why he's off, but he's been phenomenal the last 20-ish games. Again, don't even have to run through the credentials. He scored a beautiful goal from Marner in the Four Nations. Like, he showed he can play with these guys. I don't think the Bennett-Wilson swap is 1-for-1 as much as people online say it is, so I don't love Bennett, but I think that's my biggest surprise.
Okay. I do love the fact that Tommy Wilson finally got this call.
I think he's going to be awesome. I think he's going to be awesome.
It sucks for me because I'm going to have to root against him, and that's something I've never wanted to ever do ever in my life. But
whoa.
Like,
how many caps are on Team Canada?
Oh yeah, we're not even going to go there. No, but like, watching him get that call was like, I was almost getting emotional there because you could just tell how much it meant to him and his family, and that's fantastic. So I'm glad they finally picked him. I think they probably should have picked him for Four Nations where you can actually drop him, but oh well. Permission to move over to the Stars and Stripes.
My only last note on Wilson. How cool is it that now him and his wife are both Olympians?
Yeah, that is true.
Like, they just get to sit down at dinner and go, we've both been in the Olympics.
Is that my medal over there or yours? I keep getting them confused.
Oh, is it gold? Oh, it must be Tom's.
Right. Careful now. U.S. reaction. What did you think when you first saw that roster?
I think the defense was the right decisions.
Okay.
I'm not a big Adam Fox guy. You know that. I'm not a big Adam Fox guy. I think that was the right move. Now, do I think that's going to cause some headache for the Rangers with all of their coaching staff and GM being part of Team USA?
Love
yes,
it.
Absolutely. Do we love that? Yes, absolutely. I think the goalies were the right call. I think the forwards were about half a given. I don't know how you can watch JT Miller in 2025, 2026 and say that he should be there over Cole Caulfield.
Yeah. There's one video. There's just one video you need to see. Yeah. Yep. And you know the video. Everyone's seen it. Like, we've talked about it, but I don't understand that call at all.
And I like Trocheck. I like having a versatile depth center. You can sell me on that. You didn't play him in Four Nations. He was stapled to the bench. So are you going to do it now? Right? Like, that's, I understand the reasoning for most of the moves, but not having one of Jason Robertson or Cole Caulfield on that team, for the same thing I said earlier about Team Canada. If you are down 3-2, How many guys can you put out there? Those two are guys you can put out there.
The Robertson thing to me is so it's just such a head scratcher because the numbers speak for themselves, let alone watching the guy play. I mean, you watch him versus JT Miller, that is an open and shut case. You're taking one, you're leaving the other one. I just don't get what is going through the minds of people there when they look at a guy like that. They look at the numbers. I mean, highest scoring American in the last calendar year, and you don't put him on the Olympic team. It reminds me when didn't Canada leave Michael Misa off their World Junior team last year or something like that? And he had
Yeah,
like
Misa and Perek because they were hated in Saginaw.
yeah, so they had like like a ton of points, and you just don't bring them. I'm like, what? Why are we leaving all this scoring at home? I don't understand it. Now, is Jason Robertson going from the NHL to the Olympics going to be a 1-to-1 where he lights up the tournament and is leading? Probably not. But I'm willing to wager that he would have a pretty monster tournament with the Stars and Stripes.
I think so too, man. And like I say, I think majority of the picks they got right. But to me, not having Robertson and or Caulfield in place of Brock Nelson, JT Miller, or Vinny Trocheck in that order, it's a head scratcher. It's a head scratcher.
Yeah. One, I am glad they took, and I was a little bit worried about this, but I think with how well the Wings are playing, this helped a lot, is Dylan Larkin. I have been pushing for that for a while. I'm really glad they ended up doing that. I was worried they weren't, but I
Do you
think
think it
just
was in doubt?
I think it was a little bit more than what people were hearing, just because, out of that sort of like younger wave of American guys, I feel like he almost gets forgotten about. People look at him still somehow as a little bit older when really he's not.
Yeah.
And then there's also the fact that you could have taken his teammate, Alex DeBrincat.
To me, he's behind Caulfield and Robertson.
Oh, definitely.
Right. So it's like very well could have been there. But yeah, agree. I think Larkin is like one of the most valuable players on that team. Like that's you have to have him there. He's one of the few guys that can skate with McDavid, McKinnon,
Yeah.
Celebrini, McCarr, like whoever you want to say on Team Canada. If that's your goal is to play Canada at some point, you need those dependable two-way center buzzsaws. I think Larkin is that, which is why I don't think you need a JT or a Vinny.
Yeah, totally agree. I also think he's one of those guys that, like, if you tell him to play, fourth line center, he's going to bring everything he has into playing fourth line center. He will absolutely get in people's faces. He'll muck it up and he'll make their life a living hell.
Hard and slow guy.
John Carlson, where do we stand on him not making this team? Because I know Caps fans are going to have a lot to say about that.
I don't think there was ever a chance he was making the team.
Okay.
And that pains me to say for you, but that's as genuine as it, like he is the guy that in beer league finishes the game with 5 assists, but he didn't really move between the blue lines. Like if you actually watch Carlson, he's in the right spot majority of the time, but that brother does not skate anymore.
No,
And
no.
like that, the name of the game when you play a Canada or a Sweden or a Finland is going to be skating. Like I think there was a number of other guys ahead of John Carlson. He's having a phenomenal year. I would have loved to see him there again, but I don't think he was even fringe for them.
I think it's interesting. Obviously, the offensive upside, he does have one of the best shots of all time in a defenseman. And I know I'm biased by saying that, but I'll stand by it. It's not a 1-to-1, the situation with the Canadian forwards and the U.S. defense, but we're getting to a point with U.S. defensemen where you're getting, inevitably you're going to have to leave someone off that should be there, and that it's just a numbers game. And that's where we're at now. I mean, you look at it, you could say it about Fox, you could say it about Hudson. I'm glad they're leaving Fox at home. I mean, the guy's already back on IR. Just seems like they can't figure out what's going on with him. So I think it's a bullet dodge there for sure.
I think so. And I mean, again, no slight to Carlson, phenomenal year, phenomenal career, obviously. But like, I think they had Lacombe ahead of him.
Yeah, probably.
I think they had Lane Hudson ahead of him. I think they probably had Brett Pesce ahead of him.
Probably.
Different reasons. Dude, they might have had obviously they had Adam Fox ahead of him. He was there till the last minute, but it's hard to quibble with Seth Jones getting there.
Yeah.
This is where I wish Canada and US had two teams, dude. Like, I would love to see Carlson, Fowler, Falk, like those
Yeah.
guys whose primes were when we didn't have Olympics. Like those guys would have been wearing Team USA Olympic jersey, and they didn't get that chance. So that's where I think it sucks. There's some nostalgia, but yeah, I think the USD to me is their strong suit aside from the pipes.
Yeah, absolutely.
The holidays are heating up on Pick 6, DraftKings' newest fantasy pick'em game. Make your NBA picks for a shot to win big cash prizes this holiday season. Here's how it works. Just choose more or less on 2 or more player stats. The more accurate your picks, the bigger your payout. It's the kind of upside you'll only find on Pick 6, not those other pick'em sites. And it's available in most states, including Texas, California, Georgia, and more. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use the code THPN. New DraftKings customers can play just $5, get $50 in Pick 6 credits with code THPN. Ride the upside in partnership with DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours.
Let's go ahead and move on to what is clearly sweeping the hockey nation right now, and that is the TV show Heated Rivalry. So have you had the chance to watch it yet, my friend?
I have not. Sam has been watching and enjoying. I've been consuming like Empty Netters content of it, and I was talking to them at the Winter Classic just about like how much it's blown them up. Like they're getting shout outs on Jimmy Fallon right now. Like
It's crazy.
I forget the actor's name, Connor something. He just passed Connor McDavid for the most followed person in hockey. Like the amount of attention that this pretty low budget TV show is getting,
Yeah.
awesome for the game to get all these new fans in. They're doing more than a lot of teams or leagues have ever done. But I have not watched it. Have you watched it?
So I had the pleasure of having my girlfriend show it to me over the weekend. So that was fun. We went through the whole thing in one day. So did the little binge watch. I do want to give a shout out to Jacob Tierney. He does some fantastic work. He's the one that created this show. I know it's based on books, but he was also in Shoresy and Letterkenny, and I love both of those shows. So it's cool to see him, getting out there and doing something on his own separate from that. And it's cool right away, right off the bat. You can tell that this is framed around the Ovechkin, Crosby, prospect hype from the like 2005 era where they're just, they jump right in and it's in like a international prospect showcase tournament or something like that. And it's interesting. The hockey scenes are a little cheesy, it's a TV show. And, I know that's something that only you, I, or anyone else that, played or cares is going to go, okay, that's wrong. That's wrong. And, they're very quick cuts, nothing below the, nothing showing the guy skating. I don't know if they were actually skating or not, but it was interesting. I think it's really cool, the attention that this is bringing to the sport from the typically, non-hockey fan community.
Yeah, I think you said it exactly. It's hitting a new audience. Like again, to bring it to Empty Netters, like they're doing hockey 101 tutorials now because they have so many new followers, and that's awesome. That's what we need in our game. So the fact that this happened from a romance book and TV show, like it's so cool. And it's funny, like you say, like the cutaways and stuff that we would notice on ice. Like Mighty Ducks is the same thing, dude. Like they'll make 2 cuts on a breakaway.
Oh,
One
man.
time Conway's a lefty, one time he's a righty. Like it's that's, I guess that's not their focal point, but it's super cool to see the traction it's got.
Yeah. Don't ever get me started on the Mighty Ducks, arguably the worst hockey movie and maybe arguably the worst sports movies of all time.
But I still love it.
Still love it. And Gordon Bombay, terrible human being, even worse coach. So
that guy would never be allowed near a rink or a school today.
no, absolutely not. Drives out on with a limousine onto a frozen pond with children on it, tells them he doesn't like them or hockey. And this is all after getting a Dewey. Then he proceeds in the next movie to ditch them to go get laid while they're at some like international tournament.
After sleeping with one of their mothers.
Exactly. And then in the third movie, abandons them to take a higher up front office job and ships them off to a boarding school.
The American dream, no?
Exactly. Let's go over to the Metro Division because it is getting pretty crazy right now. Did you catch the Trevor Zegras statement game against his former team the other night? Yeah,
Damn right. Damn
unreal,
right. No,
Sully.
that was awesome. His interview with Scotty Hartnell on the bench after was phenomenal. I it, our buddy Johnny Lazarus was saying it on his show the other day. Zegras is back to being a face.
Yeah,
Like I don't think of the Flyers and think of Michkov right now.
no,
I don't see them and think of Couturier. I see Philly orange and black and I think of Trevor Zegras, and that is good for the game of hockey.
it's definitely something that the Flyers have needed because they really haven't had that guy since.
G.
Yeah, and it's been a while. So
Yeah.
I think it's great for him. I mean, that one pic that was going around Twitter of him just like screaming, and you've got like the whole crowd behind him. That and the fact that, the second Cutter Gauthier touches a puck, the Flyers fans are just all over him, I thought was fantastic. So atrocious uniform matchup, though. One of the hardest games visually to watch all year. That's for sure.
Yeah, that was a little tough to follow at times, but yeah, man, that was awesome. I love like hockey needs personalities and like
Yeah.
it's not to say we need cocky or arrogance or anything like that, but Zegers is making it fun and that's what it's all about. Philly thrives. They revolve around that, right? And it's just awesome that we have a rivalry between Philly and Anaheim. Like that wouldn't have happened without those two swapping places, like and obviously the way it happened. So it's awesome when we get these different fan bases hating each other.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. I feel like he's such a perfect embodiment of just Philly sports. It's like I've got a ton of skill, but I'm going to be an absolute prick at sometimes, and I think the fans just absolutely love that.
Yeah, that's Philly to the core.
No, exactly. Where are we? I mean, you're the one with boots on the ground in Manhattan. Where's the panic index for the Rangers right now? So Igor and Adam Fox are both on IR. So I think that means at least one of them, I think Foxy, is going to miss well over 10 games at this point, and they're second to last in the division.
It's not looking great. It's not looking great. I think I'm going to go to the game next Wednesday, I think it is, against Ottawa. So real barn burner between the Rangers and Ottawa there. Good to see Mika kind of get rolling at the Winter Classic, right? I
Yeah.
mean, he's obviously having a much better year than last year. They needed that. The ones for me that like you just need to see more still are Laffy and Cooley. Like take the next step, please. They're both huge bodies who rarely use it. Cooley more than Laffy, obviously. They've
Right.
both got talent, but like they're both sitting at about a point every other game. Like one of you guys needs to get up to, 0.66 points per game instead of
Yeah.
0.50, right? Like they need that depth because Panarin, Zibanejad, JT Miller, Trocheck, those guys can't carry the load of more than a point per game anymore. Panarin will flirt with it probably. He'll end up around 80 points, I'd say, but like you need it to come from somewhere. And right now, at least the games I watch, I mean, dude, we were at the one where Taylor Radish scored a couple, right?
Right.
You can't count on that every night. Brodzinski's got like 4. I think Sheary has 1. Like they need some depth push. Otherwise, they're going to stay where they are.
Yeah, it's bad when you're like, oh yeah, that's right. Connor Sheary is still playing NHL hockey. Like,
Yeah.
who would have known? But yeah, it feels like this team and another team in the division that we'll get to in a little bit, they just can't really get their footing at all this year. It's win 3, lose 5. It's win 2, lose 4. It just seems like they're constantly in these ups and downs, and they can't really just lock in and find that next gear to keep things steady. But I totally agree with what you say about specifically Lafreniere. Like, take the next step, dude. Like,
Yeah.
that, or you got to move on from it at some point. Like, at some point, you got to say, all right, its value is what it is. Let's just get what we can.
But who's going to take that deal now? Because you locked him up long term.
True.
When you didn't have to. He's got 4 years after this at 7.5.
Oof. So you're
Like,
probably
who's-
eating a good chunk of that too. That's a
Yeah.
great point.
Right? And Mika's got Mika, JT Miller, and Laffy all have 4 years after this at all 7.5 to 8.5.
Oof. That's not fun. I mean, it is
No,
for us, for
where's
you and
it?
I, but for Rangers fans,
Great
it's not.
for us. It's great. I mean, Gavrikov, 4 more years at 7. Like he's
Yep.
been good, but like that's another one that you're like, oh, but yeah, I mean they've got a lot of guys kind of coming up at the end of the year here on their contracts. It'll be interesting to see what they do because gun to my head right now, I don't have them chasing a playoff spot. Do you?
No, absolutely not. I think also with what we've seen out of the East, just both the Atlantic and the Metro are way too like that. Those middle sections are just so loaded. So if you get pushed to the bottom of that, I don't think there's a way back up.
Yeah. And I mean, again, there's a lot of hockey this year, condensed schedule. It's been a bit of a crazy season. They play tonight as we're recording this, and
Yep.
then they have 3 more games in the calendar week. Like,
Wow.
by the time your next episode comes out, they could be pushing for a playoff spot, but
Exactly.
I just don't see it.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised. I think the Gavrikov move I thought was going to work out a little bit better than it has. Like you said, he's been good. I wouldn't necessarily say up to what that contract is, but the other thing that's really surprised me is I could have sworn when Mike Sullivan took this job, he was just going to run with this team to the playoffs.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, that just hasn't worked either. So I really hope that's not the case when we go into the Olympics, but, who knows?
Who else would you have coached the Olympics? I'm bringing us back here, but if not him.
Ooh, that is a great question. I don't necessarily think, and I might be in the minority here, I don't necessarily think it has to be an NHL coach. I think the Americans have a plethora, SAT word of the day, of college coaches. One of my personal favorites is Nate Lehman, who ended up winning, I think it was the 2021 World Juniors with the U.S. That was awesome.
Yep.
So I'd love to see him do it. I think, someone will make an argument for Bobby Motzko to do it. Maybe not after how this World Juniors went, but yeah, I don't necessarily think it's got to be a coach in the show.
I completely agree. I would do a bit of a crew, which I know is a little odd, but what if you had like David Carl, Motzko,
He's good too.
and then Torts
Oh, love that.
to give you like an NHL guy, right? To make sure the boys are listening and they're doing
Yeah.
what you say, because they might be like, "Oh, you've never coached in the show," but like,
Right.
maybe Ryan Warofsky.
Warsofsky.
Warsofsky, there we go.
Yeah.
Like maybe him in the mix, and then like a veteran NHL guy further down the bench. Like, I think there's a lot of good young coaches in the
Yeah.
USA hockey system, like you said, that I don't know that we need to go back to Mike Sullivan after this.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I would love Torts. Like if it was two college coaches and then Torts standing behind them, just like eyeballing the shit out of all these players during a player meeting, and then like he's the one telling them when curfew is. Like that,
Yeah.
I would love that.
Or John Hines could be kind
Yeah.
of that veteran guy. Like, I think there's options. There's no John Cooper, Paul
Right.
Maurice. In my opinion, the Americans don't have that like one guy where you're like,
Right.
that's the guy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of damn good hockey coaches.
No, there's some good guys out there too. I think, if you were I wouldn't necessarily say as a head coach, but assistant, I don't think David Quinn is too far out of the conversation either.
Yeah, absolutely. Handsome
Uh,
devil.
Oh, absolutely. He would do numbers in the Olympic Village, that's for sure. What is going on with the New Jersey Devils? So they've lost 6 out of their last 8, and they have a minus 19 goal differential. That is by far the worst in the East. The only teams that have worse than that are Nashville, St. Louis, and Vancouver. So what in the hell happened to the Devils here?
So my buddy texted the other day asking if I wanted to go to the Islanders Devils game on Tuesday night. And thank God I said no, because that was a shellacking.
Yeah.
That was the most absurd thing I've seen in a long time. The Devils like had a lot of shots and chances, but Keefe's like post-game presser kicking things off by saying, "This was the best offensive game we've played in months." Brother, I don't care if the analytics say that. Shut up. Read
Yeah.
the room. You just lost 9-0. Forget the shots. You put up a goose egg.
It can't be the best offensive game you've played all year if you didn't score a goal. It's like when Brenda Moore said, well, in my mind, we didn't technically get swept. I'm like, well, you lost 4 straight, so yeah,
Well,
you
you
did.
did.
Yeah, like,
You did.
like hate to break
But
it to you, man, but
for me, dude, I think I think there's ramifications of Quinn Hughes.
oh,
I think they asked guys to waive their no trade clause. Guys maybe said yes, guys maybe said no, different ones, maybe a certain Dougie on the blue line. People were asked to waive their no trade clause. That is confirmed. If you then don't make said trade, when said trade is for the brother of 2 of your better players,
right.
and then all of a sudden your star player is more so in the news for dating pop star,
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, your depth scoring that was so good at the start of the year isn't really scoring anymore.
Yeah.
Dude, there's a lot of things going wrong for the Devils right now. Like, Timo Meier is not living up to his 8.8 deal. Andre Palat is a shell of the human being he once was. He deserves that money for the pain he took on his body all those years, but he's playing like a 600 grand forward, not a $6 million forward. You're kind of left with Heischer, Hughes, Bratt, and then you're counting on young Hughes on the blue line, and he ain't been it.
So that's a great segue. So what is going on with Luke Hughes? Because now I feel like the fans are either going to go one of two ways. They're going to be like, he can do no wrong because his last name is Hughes, or they're going to be like, why does a guy like Simon Nemec have to go up and down from the American Hockey League, but Luke Hughes doesn't when he's arguably playing worse?
I don't think you can send Luke Hughes up and down because of the contract.
Correct. That is true.
Nemec is on 900,000. Luke Hughes is 9 million. Optically, I don't think you can do that. Should they have done it when he was on his ELC? Yes, for sure.
Right.
I started a conversation last year that Luke Hughes wasn't very good, and probably about a month and a half ago, I, fired off some texts, you being one of them, Empty Netters guys, a couple others being like, hey, Luke Hughes is not what we thought he would be. And since that point, he has only looked worse and worse. The talent is there. The skill is there.
For
Skates
sure.
like the wind. Has a muffin of a shot. Doesn't make a great first pass. And can't defend for shit. So when you put that together, like was he going to be the Michael Grabner of blue liners? Like just speed? Like, he's not that bad. Obviously, I'm being hyperbolic, but dude, like it's not clicking for him at this level.
Yeah, and I think all the things you were talking about going on with his brother are just going to put more and more of a spotlight on him somehow, because that's just the way the world works for some weird reason. There was already the whole, well, why wasn't Luke going to the Olympics too, from some people online. I'm like, are you kidding me? Well, like, I don't know. Look at a Devils game. That'll tell you everything you need to know.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, and he's nowhere near that list. John Carlson is miles ahead of him on the Olympic list.
Absolutely.
I think it was his second year. He had almost 50 points, but he was dash 25.
Yeah.
And that was his best season. It was his most games played. He probably would have passed it last year, I think.
Okay.
He'll probably end up right around the same number this year. But, all right, if you're a 40 to 50 point defenseman, which this would be his third season in a row being, you're Morgan Riley, brother. You're not Cale Makar.
Yeah. That's a really good way to put him in a box.
Like, his contract will be fine because the cap's going up so much, yada, yada.
Right.
He did not earn any portion of that contract.
No, absolutely not. I'm glad you said that, because I remember when that happened, I was like, is anyone else going to say that this is way overly premature here?
Yeah.
I think the barometer I've seen for how bad it's going in Jersey is when you see Nico Hischier drop the gloves. It's like, okay, there's the frustration boiling over.
Yeah. Did he forget to check the game notes that Nyes is a lefty that dropped Zach Whitecloud last year?
Yeah. Also, just like eyeing the two of those up, like one is like the dude's face is a cinder block. The other one is Nico Hischier. Like, yeah, maybe don't do that.
I respect it. I respect it. But let's go for like OEL would fight. He's chippy.
Sure.
Or like, Matthias Michelli.
Yeah, that's a little bit more like, in the same weight class.
Yeah. Or Morgan Riley. Riley and Point have gone before. Get in there on the forecheck, go run around, hit Riley and OEL. Don't line up beside the friggin' linebacker Matthew Nyes, because he took him down on body shots.
No, exactly. And I think it's one of those situations. We saw Tom Wilson do this a couple weeks ago where he had to fight someone, and he 100% went easy on the guy. I think it was Sam Carrick from the Rangers. I'm like, he could have eaten that guy like a Happy Meal if he wanted to, and just, kind of held him out at a distance, did his job.
He did enough to win by one vote.
Yeah, exactly. Well said. So, yeah, I don't know what the situation is going on in Jersey, but this was a team that was on top of the Metro for a good chunk of October and November. So it is crazy to see how far the Devs have fallen off here.
And I know I chirped Keefe before. I still love Sheldon Keefe. I think he's a phenomenal
Right.
coach. I do not think this is a coaching issue. I think this is a lack of quality personnel issue.
So you mean to tell me you don't think Lindy Ruff could fix this hockey team?
Lindy Ruff, well, he fixed the Sabres, so never say never.
Right. Let's move on to our last Metro team, the Washington Capitals. So, big win over the Ducks, of course, roller coaster game. It's all over the place right now for the Caps. Justin Sortif hat trick. That was awesome. Connor McMichael, 4 assists. Big Mac and Brandon Duhaime drop the gloves. Would have liked to see Big Mac go after Trouba just for the, feed him his lunch mentality. But I don't, it's Jacob Trouba. He's probably not going to drop him with Big Mac because he's somewhat intelligent. The Protas and Wilson injuries are a problem right now. It's very noticeable. You and I were at one of those games where they didn't have Tom Wilson over the Christmas break, and you're, watching that game. It's just like, where in the hell is the life in this team right now?
Yeah, it was awesome to see that pop-off game from Sortif. But truly right now between Wilson, Protas, PLD, I'm sure I'm forgetting some, honestly. Their fourth line is their third line right now.
Absolutely.
I believe it's Duhaime, Dowd, and Frank.
Yeah.
That is your fourth line when everybody's healthy. So it's tough, man. They're going to squeeze out some points here. That's what they have to do. They got to force an overtime. They got to steal one on the road, whatever it is.
Yep.
They can do that. They have been doing that. But man, Wilson, Protas, PLD, oof, that forward core looks weak with those three out.
No, it's crazy to think that some people would say, hey, I'd maybe swap one of those with Ovi right now just to get a little something going here. And I know Ovi's starting to wake up, so that's awesome. But going into the Stars game the other night, I texted Mac and Harrison beforehand, and I was like, just put the entire house on the Stars just working the Caps tonight. And it took all of 2 minutes for Foxa to score one of the dumbest shorthanded goals I've ever seen. So I was like, it's all downhill from here. So just one of those, unfortunately. They've got some tough ones coming up. Mac will be at the game in Chicago with the dad's trip, actually, tomorrow night. So him and Grandpa Vogel will be there. So hopefully they have a good showing there. Good things usually happen when Mac is at the United Center watching the Caps. He was there for Ovi's hat trick to get to 800. So manifesting some good things. But would love your honest opinions on what you think that team's ceiling is as of this season.
I think they can be a playoff team. I think the East is so clumped up. I think they're definitely going to make a move to add a body. I would hope it's before the Olympic break.
That would be nice.
But, dude, I think they can be a playoff team. I've watched them, I'm going to say 4 times live this year. And, every time I'm impressed with kind of like how we said about Czechia earlier and a couple other teams. They play like a team.
Yeah.
They play like a team. And
there's also
when you do that.
Absolutely. And there's something to be said about they love their coach. They absolutely love Carbs.
I love their coach.
Oh, me too. And I think one of the things that teams just continue to forget about the Washington Capitals is you can't out physical them. They are going to hit you harder than you've ever been hit in your life. So if you want to come in and try and push them around, go ahead, try it out. Let me know how that goes for you.
Yeah. What do you think? Where do they end up?
I would love to see this team just make it to the second round this year. I think that if they, really get their shit going, they get a healthy Dubois who just hits the ground running after an injury, there's a chance for that. But right now, I'm probably just, optimistic for a mid-level playoff run here.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I don't think they're a cup champion per se, but I don't think I'd be surprised if they made it to the second round or maybe even the conference finals, depending on who you get. Like you said, they play some teams really well because of the style they do play.
Yeah, very true. Now, if they get a healthy and this is a lot of ifs and buts, but if you get a healthy PLD back, hits the ground running, and then, Justin Sortif continues to produce the way he's producing, I think that gives them a new level of depth down the middle they just haven't seen in a long time.
Yeah, and there might be some adjustments to that or otherwise that take some time, but it's a hell of a problem to have compared to what they've been rolling out.
Yeah, definitely. I think it is. You make a great point about them making a move. I think we've sort of heard that they're willing to go after a top 6 winger at or around the deadline. I have no
What
idea
about
who.
Mangiapane?
Not again.
It's kind of what I'm thinking, but like he's kind of one of the only names out there now that
Yeah.
Chinnikov was moved and Marchment was moved. Like
That's one where Mac and I are like, what are we doing? You're not giving up a second round pick to go get Mason Marchment. That was the asking price.
I would say on Chinnikov too.
True.
Russians have a decent history in Washington.
They do. Well, minus Kuznetsov and Semin,
Yeah.
but other than that, let's move into college for a second. So big news that I don't think a lot of people are giving enough credit to here. Tynan Lawrence is going to go from the USHL, the Muskegon Lumberjacks, to BU midway through the year, which he's absolutely legally allowed to do with his contract. But he is the projected number 1 center to be selected in this upcoming draft. What are your thoughts on that move?
Could have been at World Juniors for Canada.
Absolutely could have.
Could have for sure. It's an interesting move. I heard Colby Cohen talking about it, and I, trust his college hockey takes. Obviously, he said this is a move you make if you're trying to up your draft status. Because he
Absolutely.
could stay in the USHL and keep ripping it up. He's 1.5 a game. He looks phenomenal. Wearing the C for Muskegon. He's been great. Going to BU doesn't put BU over the edge. They've been pretty poor at times this year, right?
Yeah.
But it gives him a chance to develop as a pro for the next 4 odd months. To me, it's a move where he's trying to up his draft stock, and he very well could do so.
I also think it's a chance for him to play with guys like Cole Iserman and Cole Hudson before they go pro.
Yeah.
I don't really know what the turnover in that program is going to be after those guys leave.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a fair bit, but there was a guy who wears 71, Celebrini, who went USHL to BU recently under J. Pandolfo and did pretty well.
I think it worked out for him.
Development path.
Yeah, I think he's doing all right. And then shout out to RIT. They take down number 8 Penn State last Saturday to split their weekend series. That's a huge win for that program. And I do have to say, one of my favorite uniforms in college hockey is their white home. I think it looks absolutely fantastic.
It's so good. It's so good. It's one of my favorites. There's so many good ones.
Yeah.
There's so many good ones now that I'm thinking about it, but that's a great jersey. I'm actually going to a college hockey game this weekend. Shout out to Sam, got tickets as part of my Christmas gift. We're going to Quinnipiac Saturday.
That's going to be awesome. I've heard that barn is a ton of fun to play. Who are they playing?
RPI.
Okay, nice.
So decent game, but to see a game in Quinnipiac was on my list. Done Princeton here, done a couple of the Hockey East schools, so toured Cornell and Colgate, I think.
Nice.
So to hit Quinnipiac I'm fired up for that this weekend.
That's awesome. That sounds like a good time. And then in a couple short weeks we'll be in PA for the big one.
Time is flying, sir. Time is flying. January, I got Winter Classic, Quinnipiac, a trip to Lake Placid before the Olympics to get the juices flowing there. Trip to California for work, and then Pittsburgh for the event and the Penn State game. So January's a hell of a month.
It is going to be a time and a half. I'm so excited for that. That's going to be a blast. Looking forward to the event as well. Where can people find all the info for that if they don't have it? Is that just all over your socials?
Yeah, all over socials, workinginhockey.com. You can check out tickets and stuff there. Tickets are going to be available till Saturday the 10th here. We've got about 75 people coming so far, a couple more that are in the hopper, so it should be a blast of an event, and then a couple of fun days at State College together.
Absolutely. Looking forward to that women's game too. That's Robert Morris and Penn State, correct?
Absolutely, yeah. I think that's going to be a fun one. I think we've got some connections there, so it should be a fun day.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it, my friend. Well, guys, make sure you're liked and subscribed to all of our stuff on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Do the same for Nick over at Working in Hockey as well, and we will catch you in the next episode.